Hi guys, sorry I couldn't be in today, but I have made up a video for you so we can continue our learning, and we are moving on from length, specifically converting units of length, to now look at perimeter. So this is our lesson for today. This is our heading, if you can take it down please. And we're going to calculate the perimeter of a shape, understand what that word perimeter actually means, and solve some problems with perimeter. Okay, so got a few examples to go through. I'll tell you when to copy down and when to just watch the board. So just kind of have a look at what I've got on the board initially, okay, and we need to copy down the definition of perimeter. Now, several of you probably already know what this is. You may have done it in primary school. So the perimeter of a shape is, so I'll give you 10 seconds to have a think in your head of what you think I'm about to put on the board. What is the perimeter of a shape? And hopefully you were thinking of something like this. It is the total distance around the edges. Okay, so if you have any shape of any size, the perimeter is the total distance around the edges. Imagine in a kind of, you were asked to walk the perimeter of a football pitch, or you sometimes hear about in prisons, you might be guarding the perimeter. They might say that in a kind of TV show. So that's talking about the outside distance around the whole sort of building, or around the shape or the facility, whatever it is. Okay, so in our case, all we have to think about is, initially we're going to look at some simple shapes. Start in one corner or at one place, and you are talking about the total distance until we get back to where we started. So to actually calculate the perimeter, it's just an adding exercise, so adding all of the edges of the lengths together. So if we had these two distances, or these two lengths on this particular rectangle, I don't want you to copy this down, just watch the board. We'll do some examples in a wee second. Okay, so if I had 8 metres on this side here and 10 metres along the top, what would the perimeter be? Well, we would start at one corner and we would say 8 plus 10, but of course that isn't all the edges of this shape. That's only halfway. So we also have the opposite sides that have a value of 10 metres and 8 metres, so we would need to add on those as well. So adding the four sides together, 8 plus 10 plus 8 plus 10, that's going to be an answer of 36 metres. Okay, so you just have to remember to add all the sides, even if you aren't given in a rectangle. If you're only given two of the sides, remember that the opposite sides are the same, so remember to add all of the sides together. Okay, I do want us to copy these three examples into our jotter, including the diagram. So can you please, I should have mentioned before, you should all have a ruler. Hopefully you've got that given to you at the start of the lesson. But I'd like you to make a quick sketch of this first rectangle, please. Okay, so we have a rectangle with 15 millimeters along the bottom and 10 millimeters up the side. And first thing I want you to do is just write on that the opposite sides have the same distance or the same length. So that's 50 millimeters up there, and on the left that is 10 millimeters there. Okay, so if I wanted to find the perimeter of this rectangle, I call that P, and making sure that I write on those sides just reminds me that I don't forget to have 4. I don't forget about the other two. So just start in one corner and just go round clockwise or anti-clockwise and add all the sides together. So we've got 10 plus 15 plus 10 plus 15. So 10 plus 15 is, well, I'll give you, 20 seconds to write down the answer to that. Okay, hopefully you got an answer of 50 millimeters, which you now know that is just because we've done it recently, that would be 5 centimetres, wouldn't it? 50 millimetres, 5 centimetres. And another way you could have done that kind of calculation, some people prefer to do it this way, is add the two sides. You can only do this for rectangles because there's 4 sides and 2 of them always are the same. So you could have done 25 millimetres times 2 to also give you your 50 millimetres. Some people prefer to do it that way, but that only works for rectangles. Just be wary of that. That's only with rectangles. Okay, so that's your kind of most basic situation there. The perimeter of the next shape is not a rectangle, it's a triangle. So can you now draw that? Make a little sketch of that into your jotters, please. This time we have 3 lengths, of course, in a triangle. We've got 13 centimetres, 15 centimetres, and 17 centimetres. Okay, so hopefully you've made a sketch of that. Now the perimeter of that is going to be similar method to the first one. We're just taking, one corner and going round in a kind of clockwise direction and adding all the sides together. So 13 plus 15 plus 17. Now some people might prefer to do this adding as a kind of top and bottom chimney sum. I'm going to do that for the next one, but I think this one we probably could just about do without it. So 13 plus 15 is 28, so it's 28 plus 17, and I'll get you to write the answer to that down just now. Remembering your units, please. We're talking about a length here, so we need to have units, millimetres, centimetres, metres, whatever it is. 28 plus 17, 28 plus 10 is 38, plus the 7 is going to be 45 centimetres. Okay, so hopefully that's okay, you got the same thing. The last one is just a kind of, just an unusual little shape. Not a rectangle, not a triangle, and the measurements this time for each side are actually decimal numbers, so a little bit more tricky this time. Just same process, but adding decimals is just a little bit harder. So I think this time I'm going to set this up as a kind of chimney sum just to show you how that works as well. So the perimeter, I'll start at the top, is going to be 3.0, and then I'm going to go in a clockwise direction, so then I'm going to add 2.6, then I'm going to add 1.2, then I'm going to add 3.9, and then I'm going to add 4.1. Okay, so adding decimals, put your decimal point in there, and we are adding all these things together. So 0 plus 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 9, 17, plus another one is 18. So 8 is going to go to the right of the decimal point, and I'm carrying over 1. And then I'll let you add all those numbers together and write in the final perimeter with my units, which is going to be centimetres. So I'll give you kind of 20 seconds to do that now, please. Okay, so 3 plus 2 is 5, plus another one is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 4 is 13, and adding the one that we carried over, so hopefully I've done that right in my head, and it's 14.8 centimetres. So if you're getting those okay yourself, then that's great. We're going to do a wee bit of practice of that in a minute. Okay, what I wanted to quickly show you though, because I'm not there to kind of jump back in later, is the next example, okay? And this is more kind of yellow purple level example. So pink level, you don't really need to worry about this, but I want to show everyone it just now. So I'd like you to copy down this triangle. So we've got a kind of standard triangle here. We've got 16 centimetres on the left side, 20 centimetres on the bottom side, and I don't know this side. That's why I've called it the letter X. I actually don't know one of the sides this time, but I do know that the total perimeter of the shape is 50 centimetres. So I'd like you to copy down this triangle. This time we're actually not looking for the perimeter, we're looking for what the missing side is. So copy down the shape and write down that the perimeter is 50 centimetres. Now, I'm sure some of you have already came up with the answer to this. If I have 3 sides, I would add them together to give me 50. So if I know what 2 of them are, the third one has to add with the other 2 to give a total of 50, doesn't it? Or you can think of it as 50 take away 20, take away 16. Okay, so the missing side is going to be whatever I need to add to the other 2 to give me 50. So what I would probably do is do 50 and take away the 2 sides you're given. So 50 take away 20, take away 16. That's going to give me that third side left over. So 50 take away 20 is 30, 30 take away 16. That's going to give me an answer of 14 centimetres, which I'm sure many of you were able to figure out for yourself. So that's the kind of 2 types of questions I want us to do just now, is just calculate the perimeter, sometimes with simple numbers, sometimes a bit bigger, sometimes with decimals, and then some of these ones where we have a missing side. Okay, so what I'd like you all to do now is take out your length, perimeter and area booklets, and this is what you are to do for today. So if you are working at pink level, I'd like you to do the perimeter pink exercise, which starts halfway down page 4. Okay, so halfway down page 4, there's pink perimeter exercise starts, so start there if you're working at pink level. If you're yellow and purple level, I want us just to begin first of all just all doing the yellow exercise on page 5. Okay, so there's 3 or 4 questions in each of those exercises. Now some of you may get done, particularly purple level, may get done that before the end of the lesson. If that is the case, I want you to use your Chromebooks to get out and do some perimeter practice from the maths workouts. Okay, now you should hopefully know the login details for that. We've done it several times already. If you don't, I've passed them on to the teacher who's there, and they'll be able to remind you of the login details. And I just want you to go to the geometry, so I'll write it on here. It's the geometry and measure section. It's a kind of pink tab, and then it's the perimeter activities. So I think the perimeter is the 12th kind of section, and it's a couple of the perimeter activities. I just want you to work through some of those, just a wee bit extra practice, okay?